go. We are live. So, YouTube. Just gonna post on the community that channel is live, so I cannot see anyone if they put in the chat. Okay, there we go. So, last time we went over adjectives and relative clauses. And shoot, I forgot to clean up this mess over the weekend. Whoops. I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, to re-jog people's memories, hello Shu, about what we did last time, we figured out how adjectives work both modifying and in predicate constructions. So when modifying, we add the suffix ki after the adjective itself and place that before the noun. And in predicate constructions, we mark the subject with the oblique suffix on the verb and the subject marker on the noun itself. And then for relative clauses, I changed that real quick in here, yeah. So for relative clauses, it only started. I'm just going over what we did last time. So welcome back, Maddie. Relative clauses are placed before the nouns they modify. So apple, eat, and then the adjectival marker ki, and then that goes before the noun itself. I think after the stream yesterday, as I was posting this on Discord, I decided that the role of the missing noun or the head noun will be marked on the verb itself. Villager eating an apple is lying down. Yeah. So and then apple being eaten by the villager. This would be a D. Yeah. I think that works as a system. Oh. Well, welcome to the stream, Shu. I stream every Monday and Wednesday Conlang creation from 12 to 1 PST. I also stream Minecraft or other games or anything else on Friday, same time. So if you want to just hang out there as well, you're free to come. So, what should we do? Did I say Monday? Oh no. Okay, so we did adjectives and relative clauses. We obviously are going to be doing more grammar. So, should we do tenses, aspect, and mood? Or should we do subordinate clauses? What do you guys think? Verbal marking stuff or aspect and mood, no tenses? Well, I mean, saying no tenses is difficult as any way of marking time is technically a tense. So even in Chinese, with what they do of, let me just pull this up as an example. So in Chinese, you'd have 我明天吃 where there we go. 吃饭. I tomorrow eat I tomorrow eat versus 昨天. Oh, I forgot the. Then this is still technically tenses, as this is marking tomorrow and this is marking yesterday. It's just that the tenses themselves are not mandatory and not marked on the verb itself, like in English, where we have I will eat versus I ate. Like, these are mandatory in English. Well, these aren't necessarily mandatory in Mandarin, but they're still tenses, if you get what I'm saying. Yeah, I had the same experience there, Shu. It took a while to learn all of this, especially because linguists suck at naming anything. Like, oh my god, they suck at naming stuff. So, well, that's good, Maddie. Anyway, so let's do tenses, aspect, and mood. Let's get that out of the way. We might also delve a bit into how time works in the language. So let me just section some of these off so I can see them better. I know I meant to make this way more legible over the weekend, but I got distracted by my procrastinating brain, as is always the case. Just cover those. Nice little boxes. Okay. So, I assume we are not going to be marking any of this temporal or modal information on the verb itself. From the looks of what we have so far, our language is slightly agglutinative, but it seems to also largely be isolating in manner, or slightly analytical in manner. So, that means we would be making use of adverbials to mark all of this. So, why does it keep defaulting to that? Oh, let me zoom in for you guys so you can see this better. Okay, so aspect and mood are indicated. Well, mood will be indicated through auxiliaries or adverbs. Aspect will be indicated through particles, probably. Particles. That's a mood right there. Yeah. Sorry if I'm shifting around a lot. My cat is on my lap. And he is heavy. Tense will be indicated through adverbs. So like tomorrow, recently, yesterday, etc. Okay. So now we just need to figure out how exactly these will affect the verb itself. So let us quickly pull up a simple sentence. So I don't know why it does that. Okay, quickly, simple sentence. The villager eats an apple. So straightforward and to the point. And then if we wanted to say the villager, we also need another example sentence of, let's say, the villager has eaten an apple. So this will be imperfect. So right now, and this will be perfect. Or should we do imperfective versus perfective distinctions? Grammatical aspect. Yeah, they're all down here. So perfect is what we have in English. So maybe doing an imperfective, just a simple up top imperfective versus perfective expectual split for now. So, and then we could probably also increment that imperfective down into, yeah, see, this is why linguists suck at naming stuff. There was another term for, I think, the perfect that I liked better, but I just can't think of what it is right now. But a simple thing to remember is that's not really a simple way to remember that. Let's see. Can we see the other name for the perfect here? So resultative. So another term for perfective, I think, would be the prospective aspect. That is what I've seen before, the prospective aspect, where it's an event in the past that has present relevance. The opposite of it is the prospective, or event that in the future happens because of something going on now. At least that's the way I've heard about it. Meanwhile, the perfective is a singular point, a singular action, completed as a whole. I probably sucked at explaining that. You know what? I will make a video on it. I will make a video on aspect. Because I hate myself already. It is very confusing. Anyway. So, we could, since we already have a stative, we could village. So imperfective would then become the progressive. Though stative is not really a thing you can add to. That's just the state of the verb, so we'll just keep it imperfective and perfective for now. Yeah. Who texted me? No one. Okay. So imperfective, perfective. I assume we will have the imperfective be the default way of speaking, as that usually is the case. Not always, but usually. So this here is the imperfective. It is unmarked, just the villager eats an apple, or villager, voice marker, apple, patient, eat, agent marker. So, and then if we wanted to make it perfective, we could do that through an, actually we could do that through an auxiliary verb. So we just leave sans there as it is, then have another verb come after it that has a slightly different meaning. So we could do something like that, where eat, I don't know what would be a good what would be a good auxiliary for the perfective? Doesn't really give many examples here of the perfective auxiliaries. Perfective For now, we will just have that be have. I know that technically marks the perfect, so that's going to be extra confused. No, that's going to... It could just be the word be. Yeah. It'll be the word be. So the perfective is marked by putting the word be after the word for the verb. I think that works. So, Herng, Nyanda sangi Hernya Nyanda sangi versus Hernya Nyanda salangi. Yeah. Okay. So we have a simple imperfective perfective split for aspect. That is good enough for aspect for now. Of course, I close the window. Of course, we might come back and add certain other aspects like derivative, frequentive, gnomic as stuff that, because basically every language marks most aspects through some form or another. If I want that to be thick, I want that to be thin. Okay, that's marked there. This is aspects. I'll just leave that there for now. And then modality. Did I forget to write down? I forgot to write down polarity. So I'll do that next to aspects, I guess. No, I'll do it down here. Yeah, I'll do it down here. That'll be for modals. Down here will be polarity. Polarity, for those who don't know, is the fancy linguist term for positive or negative sentences. And my cat is trying to get into the room now. Okay, so all verbs plus adjectives have the high tone by default. When a sentence is negative, the verb takes the low tone. So just writing that down so I can remember it's there and I stop forgetting about its existence. Okay, so aspects, then modality. So modality is often one of the parts I have most trouble with. Aside from thinking up a vocabulary to, make the language usable. But modality, so obviously basic, indicative, and then we could have subjunctive, we could have conditional, optative, imperative. Now we could mark these on the verb through special constructions, or what are the different types of tenses there for in English? And are you talking about up here or just in general? Because the simple present versus perfect in English is that the simple present or simple tenses are just the verb itself. So, I eat versus I ate. Those are both simple tenses. Quotes there. Then the complex tenses are any periphrastic phrase or any periphrastic construction. So, I have eaten is the perfect present because you're talking about a point in the present that has some relation to an event. No. You're talking about a point in the past that has present relevance. Well, the past perfect, I had eaten, is a point in the past that had relevance to another point in the past. If that makes sense. The problem is that we often call them tenses when they're really tense aspect amalgamations. I hope I was clear with that. I am bad at explaining stuff on the spot. No. So, mood is someone's, or the, how someone views an event, really. So, the indicative mood is when someone says something in the indicative, they are taking it for fact that has happened. Well, in a language with a subjunctive mood, for instance, that is something that could happen or will happen or may happen but hasn't happened yet. It is something that isn't fact yet or may not be fact. Then say the conditional being something being based on another thing. So valency, however, is voice marking. It is not voice marking. It is how many objects a verb may take. So it's interrelated with voice marking, but not the same. So a verb with a valency of 1 would be something like walk. It can take one noun with it for I walk. A verb with a valency of 2 can take 2 nouns with it. So I eat an apple. There are 2 nouns there. So a verb of 1 valency is often called intransitive, while a verb of 2 valency is called transitive. And then if you have 3 things, that is a ditransitive verb. I give the man an apple. That there is ditransitive. It has a valency of 3. And then there are certain ways of changing. Well, before I get to that, most verbs will have a base valency, a lexical valency to them. So I walk has a base valency of 1. I eat an apple has a base valency of 2. And eat has a base valency of 2. And give has a base valency of 3. Now, some verbs are bitransitive, meaning that they can have either 1 valency or 2. So bitransitive. So an example of that would be the verb to eat in English. You could say I'm eating, and that be an intransitive verb of 1 valency, or you could say I'm eating an apple, a transitive verb with 2 valency. So now where voice comes into this, because I mentioned that earlier, is that voice is a way of changing the valency of the base valency of a verb. So the passive voice changes the valency of a verb down by 1. So if we do it to to eat, we could get an apple is eaten. That is a valency changing construction that changes the base valency of eat from 2 to 1. Or you could increase valency by using a causative, like I made him walk. A thing of 0 valency are terms like, in English, they are verbs that take the dummy pronoun it. So, it rains, it snows, it thunders. In English, we cannot have 0 valency. So we mark it through using the dummy pronoun it. These verbs here in certain languages do have 0 valency. They just exist. Meaning they don't take objects, they don't take subjects, they take nothing. But because, in English we don't have 0 valency, we have to have the dummy pronoun it, making them technically verbs of 1 valency. If that makes sense. I'm rambling again. Does that make sense? Maybe better to make sense. Okay. That's good. Yeah. So those types of verbs that take an dummy pronoun are impersonal verbs with a valency of 0. Okay, so took that time to explain that, and now going back to modality. I think maybe we won't have special constructions for modality. I think modality and tense will be left up to... So modality and tense are not required to be hard-baked onto the verb. Instead, what is required is aspect. So the imperfect isn't marked. Nope. The perfect... gosh, this is why I hate the terms linguists use. The perfective is marked by placing la after the verb. Okay, so that is aspects, and then modality and tense will be marked by adverbials. So in order to do that, we may, for instance, create converbs, which is a common way of marking mood in certain languages, is to use verbs in their converbial state and then placing them in the sentence as an adverb. Gosh, now I'm second guessing myself. No specific tenses, points in time shown through adverbs. And then modality shown through converbal constructions. Okay, now we gotta figure out how those converbal constructions work. So, coming over here, modality. Yes, sorry about the noise in the background. Still having work done on the bathroom downstairs. So, you'll be hearing that in the background. Hum. Discord link isn't working. Let me check that. Copy link. I updated it. That should hopefully work. I mean, as you can see, Cats made it to the Discord through that, so hopefully that works. Villager wants to eat an apple. So, no problem. So the villager wants to eat an apple. We need a way to show desire. Now we could just create a verb for want, but I think using it as an adverb will make most sense. So, marked through adverbs. We could have them. Adverbs are second position. So we could just have a simple verb. We can still have a simple verb for to want, as I think that is. Oh. I will look into that in a bit. Let's see. What should the word... I think we've figured out that these are what we're keeping, but what should the word... This is always my favorite part. Nah, just nah, simple, plain old, well, it'd have to be nah. Okay, so to want, nah, and then to mark a converb. So if you want to find the Discord, it is look up the Conlang's Discord network and then go down to projects. It will be down there. So wants to And then our converbs, let's say they are marked by nari. So ri is made after the verb, giving us the villager want converb apple. So modal adverbs are second in possession in the sentence. So that is, and then anytime we want to make a modal adverb, we create a verb for it, then we add ri after it, and we will get ourselves the new modal marker. Let me just okay. That seems simple enough, and maybe in the future that ri marker may spread from the adverb to the verb itself, maybe marking some sort of subjunctive, or maybe even a future tense will develop. Either way, we should probably give an example sentence for tenses. So time, words, temporal, marked through specific adverbs like Chinese. So will eat an apple tomorrow. And then tomorrow we could have sun and day be the same word. Gong, gaw. Oh, whoops. Gaw, gaw. And then last would be da. And then sure, we'll have our very first homophone. So next day, no. Let's change that first one. Let's do a let's do that. And then tomorrow, yesterday. And I guess this can also be today when used with a certain preposition. Why did I lose my font there? Daga, funga, 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 oh, funga, ugh. How should one go about creating root words? Well, I'm probably not the best person to ask for that because, as you can see, I'm just creating words up as I go. Though, I think a good way to figure out what words you would want for a root is figure out what words would you consider old. What words would you consider would be most likely to have been used centuries ago in your language versus which words would have been created recently or not? So words like eat, drink, play, those words have probably been in the language for centuries, so it's more likely that they will be roots than, say, a word like computer, which obviously not a root. It is made up of compute and and then compute itself in English is now a root. However, in Latin and older languages, it wasn't a root, it was a construct created as the concept of computing was fairly new at the time, if that makes sense. Of course, you could take older roots and repurpose them for new words. Like, what would be a good example? To switch. Switch used to just be a word that meant changing sides or flipping something over. But with the advent of electricity, they took the word switch and used it as the noun for a light switch. So, yeah, animals would probably have their own roots. Hunting tools would probably have their own roots. Foods and plants might have their own roots. Though roots also tend to be fairly broad in meaning roots can cover a wide base, and more specific words can be derived for more specific meanings. So, like in Chinese, again, how am I using Chinese again as an example? That's the one on my brain, though. You have the terms for animals are roots. So, nope, that's not how you spell that. Nyo, cow, Jew, pig, and then the terms for their meats are literally just putting the word meat after it. So in English we have pork, mutton, beef. In Chinese and other languages, they just take the word for the animal and put the word meat or food after it. So it really depends on what's most common in the language, also the economics of, or the social status of the words themselves. So like English has a lot of roots from Greek and Latin because we borrowed them. and we replaced many of our native constructions that want roots with those words. I probably just made this a whole lot more confusing than it ever needed to be. Now, what was my word for tomorrow? Daga. These pharyngeals, man, they're gonna kill me. Okay. I would recommend watching Artifexian or Biblaridian, as they have some videos on this topic and they're pretty good at it. Another thing you could... No, that's not really... That wouldn't really help you, never mind. But either way, back to the language. You guys sidetracked me way too easily. So we have... So in these 50 minutes, we created our simple aspects. We've determined that we're going to have imperfective and perfective so far. Now remember, none of this is permanent. We can go back and change anything that if we get new ideas for what to do, or if we decide we don't like something later on. So if you have any ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. Feel free to leave them in the Discord. And I will look at them and I might implement them, I might not, or they might inspire me to do something slightly different from what we currently have. Either way, we now have our simple TAM system. So I can get rid of that for need to be done. Something we do need to figure out is temporality. How do they divide time? How time is divided. So in English, we divide time a certain number of ways: into days based on the sun, into weeks, months, years, minutes, all that fun jazz. So how is time in this language divided? We need to figure that out, as that will help us with our temporality. What else do we need to do for the language? We need to figure out subordinate clauses, of course. Well, do we want to tie the temporal system to the real world, or do we want to base the temporal system in their world and then map it out? Well, this isn't Excel. This is Google Sheets, which I prefer for conlanging. I'm honestly... so many reasons I don't choose Excel, but I won't get into them. Yes. So because Minecraft doesn't have seasons, we probably won't need a word for seasons. But let's see. The sun and moon are also exactly apart from each other. So I think that would play a part in it. I'll have to think more on this. But I think we did a lot today. So I think I will be wrapping this up here. So yeah, if you have any ideas, I just literally just mentioned all this, but leave it in the comments, leave it on the Discord, message me on Reddit. And for those of you wondering when my next video will be out, it is currently in the works. I have yet to start recording the audio for it because I have been basically rewriting the script as I've been creating visuals for it. Because this is a script I wrote a year ago, maybe a year and a half. So it will be out in the next 2 weeks, so look forward to that. And I will see you all yeah, that's what I was thinking. Let's I'll just copy your okay, I got distracted again. I will see you all on Wednesday. Have a good one.